From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, I'm Kylie Conway, and this is your News 8 Daily 8 for Wednesday, May 31st. We're in for a hot close to May. Higher humidity, plenty of sunshine will stay in place. There's potential for pop-up showers and storms during the afternoon hours as well, just really similar to yesterday. Highs will rise, though, into the upper 80s, pushing 90 degrees today. And we did follow breaking news this morning on Daybreak. State police confirmed troopers did arrest State Representative Jim Lucas for drunk driving. Lucas is a Republican from Seymour, serving District 69. State police say he was in a crash on I-65 overnight and left the scene. Police found him nearby and arrested him, booking him into jail just before 4 this morning. According to the online jail records, he faces preliminary charges of operating while intoxicated and leaving the scene of a crash. Bond was set at $705. We're now working to learn if he bonded out or is still in custody. You can follow along with updates at wishtv.com. Gunfire between two groups at an Indianapolis park. Police hope someone has video of what happened. The shooting started about 8:15 last night at Martin Luther King Jr. Park. Police say a car pulled up and the people inside started shooting at a group playing basketball. The group then fired back at the car. Police say the shots from the park shootout managed to miss everyone, but they still want to figure out what was involved. They ask you to reach out if you can help. Two teenagers are now formally charged in a quadruple shooting at a Columbus park. There was a romantic conflict, according to the probable cause affidavit. Prosecutors say 18-year-old Admarius Oates threatened a victim on social media, then confronted him over a girl at the park. Oates is now charged with attempted murder and 3 counts of aggravated battery. 18-year-old Alexander Parker also faces charges, accused of driving the getaway car. The shooting happened last week at Lincoln Park. Court documents show Oates made threats to harm 18-year-old Gavin Harden on social media over a girl that they both had dated. Harden was at a basketball court with 3 other victims. Witnesses told investigators Oates and Parker drove by, then Oates fired shots from the back seat. Police arrested Parker as he drove to Franklin. The affidavit revealed police found shell casings from a 9mm pistol in the vehicle. Police say Parker refused to tell them the identity of the person with him, but a witness told police Oates was dropped off at his home after the shooting. He surrendered to a SWAT team after negotiators contacted him. However, Oates denied any involvement. Police say photos were found on his social media showing off guns. He said the weapons did not belong to him. As of last night, both Parker and Oates were in jail without bond. Initial hearings haven't been scheduled yet. Indiana State Police arrested a Cincinnati man for stealing a school bus and leading officers on a 2-state chase. Chad Murdoch is now in custody in Decatur County. According to police, it happened as a bus driver practiced a summer route in the Cincinnati area yesterday morning. Police say the driver got off to take a break, and Murdoch jumped in and drove off. Ohio authorities then called on Indiana State Police to help track down the bus. Troopers found it in Decatur County and chased Murdoch for nearly an hour. State police say they eventually stopped the bus and arrested Murdoch in Shelbyville. He faces charges of resisting law enforcement, criminal recklessness with the vehicle, possession of stolen property, and criminal mischief. From IT Made, an Indiana Department of Education investigation finds an IPS student with autism missed out on thousands of minutes of school, and his mother now claims her son didn't get the education he deserves. Latasha Walker shared the DOE report with IT Mate. According to the report, her son Tyrese missed more than 5,000 instructional minutes in 2022. It also shows he was taken out of class 114 times over 71 days. Walker says most of the removals were for talking or disrupting class. She says her son is not perfect, but it shouldn't prevent him from receiving an education.
If my son is doing something and he needs some discipline, send him. But send him with his work. They're not sending him with work.
The DOE tells ITMate the report is not finalized. Both sides do have a chance to ask for reconsideration. ITMate also reached out to IPS, but the district hasn't responded. We now know how a Whiteland High School student died during PE class. The Johnson County coroner says Elena Dildine had a seizure while she was in the pool last month when she drowned. The coroner ruled her death an accident. As we've reported, the community has also raised more than $26,000 to help Dildine's family. To Floyd County in southern Indiana, where a police officer and the man he was trying to arrest are wounded in a shootout. It happened late yesterday morning in New Albany. State police say New Albany officers were investigating an earlier shooting involving Barry Souders. Investigators say officers saw Souders and tried to arrest him, but he ran and fired, wounding Corporal Andrew Byrne. Byrne fired back, hitting Souders. New Albany police say Byrne should recover from his injuries. Souders is already out of the hospital and is in custody in Louisville, where he was taken for care. He now faces extradition back to Indiana to face charges. The Indy 11 and city leaders will break ground on a new stadium today. 11 Park is going to go up along Kentucky Avenue near the White River on the southwest side of downtown. As we've reported, the project will create a 20,000-seat multi-purpose stadium, as well as apartments, a hotel, and retail and office space. Both Governor Holcomb and Mayor Joe Hogsett are expected to be there for the groundbreaking. The plans call for fans in the new stands by the summer of 2025. Today, the U.S. House is slated to vote on the debt ceiling deal. It's not clear yet if enough lawmakers support it to pass. If approved, the package would restrict spending for the next 2 years and lift the debt limit. President Biden is working to bolster support among Democrats, and Speaker Kevin McCarthy is trying to get enough Republicans to commit to it. He says it will pass. Other lawmakers are making it look less certain. Here are comments from some, including Indiana Congresswoman Victoria Spartz.
We cannot plan again for another year and a half. So I would be willing to give short extensions so we can have a serious conversation where we can save money in our budget. We always have these fake deadlines. If we want to expand, our deadline for another month, I would be willing to do it.
I think to a Democrat, none of us believe that we can default on the debt ceiling. And we know what the impact is going to be on people across the board, from seniors to veterans to our children to everybody in every community. And yet there are things in here that if they were freestanding bills, I would never vote for. And that's my problem.
According to the Congressional Budget Office, the spending restrictions in the legislation would reduce deficits by $1.5 trillion over the next decade. The U.S. military is calling out China, accusing one of its fighter pilots of flying dangerously close to an American jet. Indo-Pacific Command released a statement yesterday calling the move unnecessarily aggressive. It happened over the South China Sea Friday. New video from the Department of Defense shows that the Chinese fighter jet cut in front of the nose of an American plane, which shakes in the turbulent wake. China has asserted it has jurisdiction over much of the sea. International law considers it international airspace.
I was sleeping in the tub. I didn't hear nobody come in. And when I woke up on the strength because I heard a voice. Anybody in the building? As the ladder come up to me to get me out the window, I was scared. I was real scared.
A survivor of the Iowa apartment building collapse describes her rescue. The center section of the building first fell over the weekend, but the fate of several of those inside is still not clear. Firefighters reached her with a ladder truck as people on the street below applauded. Authorities say 5 people are still missing, but they believe only 2 were likely in the building at the time and could be in the rubble. So far, there are no deaths or injuries reported. The Carter Center says former First Lady Rosalind Carter has dementia. The organization released a statement on her diagnosis yesterday. It says the 95-year-old will remain at home with her husband, former President Jimmy Carter. He's 98 and has been receiving hospice care since early this year. According to the Alzheimer's Foundation, dementia is associated with a decline in memory and other cognitive functions. It estimates the disease affects 1/3 of all people over 85. The FDA wants to make instructions on drugs easier to understand. The agency proposed a new rule yesterday requiring a single-page guide for prescriptions. It would include the name of the drug, its uses, common side effects, and how to use it. The FDA cites a study from the National Library of Medicine showing 75% of Americans have trouble taking medication as required. The agency is now asking for public input on the proposal over the next 60 days. And to business headlines, Eli Lilly and Company has agreed to pay $13.5 million to end a 6-year class action lawsuit that alleged the company overpriced its insulin. As part of the settlement, Lilly has agreed to cap out-of-pocket costs for its insulin at $35 a month for 4 years. The deal comes 3 months after the company said it would slash prices of the type 1 diabetes treatment to the same level. Twitter is now worth just 1/3 of what Elon Musk paid for it. Fidelity says that would make Twitter worth a little more than $14 billion. Musk has acknowledged that he overpaid for the social media site. Republican senators, led by Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, introduced legislation to require app stores to list apps' country of origin. The Know Your App Act aims to increase consumer awareness of the ownership of apps by requiring stores like Google Play and the Apple App Store to identify each application's country or origin. The bill comes as lawmakers from both parties target apps made or backed by Chinese companies. The company once known as Chrysler is now called Stellantis. However, Barron's Financial Magazine says the stock would go up if they'd go back to Chrysler. GM and Ford trade at a higher premium, even though Stellantis is growing. The Denver Nuggets are in the NBA Finals for the first time in franchise history. The Nuggets face the Miami Heat for the NBA championship. The lowest price on 2023 NBA Finals tickets we could find was $449 before fees on Vivid Seats for a game at Miami's basketball arena. Prices start at $569 before fees for games at Denver's arena. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway, online at wishtv.com. And like us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update on demand. For even more, on demand and on the go. Connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening. And be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.